So good luck to our runners. Let's hope for another master pedestal seed. I think we can hope for that. There was just one on Speedruns Live.
I hope so. That'd be exciting.
So I know Leodox actually from the Super Metroid community. He's one of the first racers, and he was definitely my first goal, as in I want to beat Leodox in a race. But then after that started happening, he quit. I think I scared him away. But now he's back.
I'm not too familiar with Leodox, but I know he's a pretty competent runner, and he's well known across many games, actually.
And I spy J-Ro in the chat there. He's one of the other ones I used. Taught me the jet cheat that I'm well known for now. But Leo actually was practicing some one-hit KO maps for this, and I don't know how he has the patience to do that. It looks like our runner's already picked up the hammer. I should get a little hype for that. Wow.
One of the most important items to find.
This early, hammer this early is really nice. If they can pick up the mirror anytime soon, and some gloves or the flute, they can go right up to Death Mountain. It doesn't help other than Death Mountain. It doesn't really help too much in the light world, but once it gets Dark World, they can move around a lot easier.
Yeah, you don't realize how much that hammer actually blocks off until you're struggling to look for it like an hour into a seed.
Yeah. So actually, another good point is that the hammer does a lot of damage. You can see our runners here. They're actually using hammer on like the knights. It does tempered sword damage.
Yeah, much better alternative to the fighter sword. However, it does have the drawback of having a smaller hitbox, so a little harder to land those hits.
Yeah. Such a good
especially if
hitbox.
You're facing like up or down. To the side, it's not as bad.
So right now our runners are just heading down to save Zelda.
They got
as all the races.
We got an bomb capacity upgrade at some point, which generally not a great thing to find, but this early on it does actually give you a single bomb. So that means they can definitely get the chest at the end of Escape, so they don't have to worry too much about finding bombs as a drop right now.
Interesting. So Leo actually doing the double pot strat. I think the tempered, not the tempered sword, the hammer would, a pot plus hammer should insta-kill the ball chain like we saw on Andy's side.
Yeah, many players opting to go with the pot strat. It's a little bit safer.
Yeah.
Although, yeah, with the hammer, it's much quicker to use the hammer to finish them off.
So I don't believe either of our runners have found a map yet. They do have a small key, which they'll need to get. They'll need to have a small key to get through Escape. I mean, that's a standard drop. There's also a map somewhere around here. But they found the hammer already. Maybe there'll be something else good in Escape.
Very possible. As mentioned, in an ideal seed, the map would be in the Sanctuary chest. That way, by the time you get there, you know it's the map, and you can just skip right on by it.
So it's been quite a tournament overall so far. A lot of interesting races, some fast, a lot of trolley seeds and races going on. A few runners already have completed their races for their group. within 1 week.
Yeah, some people are speed running through their matches. And we've had a lot of matches so far, but there's still a lot to go through. So we should be keeping busy for the next couple weeks still.
Like, I've only done 2 of my races. I still have 2 more. I'm trying to space it out, do like 1 a week. This should be Leo's 2nd race, and I think this is Andy's 3rd. So, both Andy and Leo coming into this, and there's the map. Both Andy and Leo coming into this with just wins for their group. So, right now, they're going to determine whose streak is being broken.
Alright, we got Andy coming up and finishing escape here in just a second. I'm gonna grab this last chest, and it's the hook shot.
Wow!
Hook shot and hammer this early is insane.
If they can get up to Death Mountain, they can explore all of Light World Death Mountain. That is insane.
These 2 items early on are very nice to get out of the way. They're going to be required in every seed no matter what, so that's just 2 things that they know they're not going to have to worry about.
And the nice thing about hook... Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. When they do get to the Dark World, they're not going to have to... They're going to have a lot of dungeons open to them that they'll be able to complete from the get-go.
And looks like the tree dropping 80 rupees, which is really nice to go take a look at the bottle seller. Leodox opting not to check the logging hut, just gonna go for Lost Woods items.
It looks like we got a bottle of some kind in the Lumberjack Cave.
It's questionable if that's going to be worth. Usually you can get a bottle, there's 4 of them, so they should be able to find another bottle elsewhere if the kit is required, but who knows what the seed generated. It could put all the other bottles in Ganon's Tower for all we know.
Yeah, it's very possible that could be a bottleneck, but given what we know right now, it seems unlikely.
So Leodox does have an extra bomb which will help him in town. You want about 3 bombs in town to check all of the places, plus an extra bomb for the Moldorm Cave south of town, south of the map.
Yeah, you want bare minimum 3 bombs coming into Kakariko, potentially a 4th to access the race if you need that item.
Oh yeah.
And then there's, yeah, as mentioned, the Moldorm Cave, and then possibly Ice Cave if you want to go all the way around.
I feel like with all the items they have so far, town's not going to have anything, but we'll see.
Oh!
Silver arrows.
And the magic boomerang. One of the long forgotten items of Link to the Past when it comes to Randomizer.
I'm starting to think this is a Stoops Jet Seed. I'll be honest.
I told you. You gave him the hookup, huh? Yeah, those early silver arrows could be, if they find the bow soon, could be amazing. If you can find the silver arrows and the bow early, you don't have to worry too much about sword upgrades because you can just put down most bosses with the silver arrows instead.
So neither of our racers found bombs in Steve's hut, so they have to buy bombs if they want to open the rest of these areas, these chests.
Looks like what Leodox chose to do. I'm willing to bet Andy will follow up and do the same.
Unless the kid gives them a bomb upgrade.
Gives them a bomb. How
There
convenient.
you go. Quake, interesting. Andy buying bombs just in case, since he does only have 1.
Yeah, the early
They weren't. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say that is pretty interesting. It's yet to be seen if Meyer or T-Rock are required. Have we seen the map at all, actually?
No, they haven't pulled up a map yet.
That makes sense. A lot of players choosing to do these initial things before even checking the map.
So yeah, both of our racers were not skipping the well. They were just going to buy some bombs since they only had one or maybe even none at that point.
Yeah. Ideally, you don't want to drop down there and then have to grab a bomb and come back, so...
Yeah.
Save yourself a trip.
They got a bunch of items, but they don't actually have anything that unlocks progression yet. If they do get gloves or flute, like I mentioned, Death Mountain opens up. If they get Moon Pearl, then they can actually head right into Dark World if they want.
Yeah, the hook shot and hammer, amazing items to find, and open up a ton of things later on, but right now they need to find something else to get going.
Alright, so it looks like Leodox is going to take a look at the library, see if that is anything good. It's a tempered sword. That's nice to know where it is early on. And Race Game has a red tunic, which Leo might be grabbing, actually.
I'd say it's worth the 30 seconds of your time for that added protection.
Yeah.
Particularly especially for the early game.
You don't know how many hearts you'll actually get throughout the randomizer, so a little extra protection. Although, I'll have to talk to Leo about that. He should know how to avoid damage from Oko practice.
That's a fair point.
Oh, did I not? Leo got Quake, didn't he?
I think they both should have it. Sorry, I'm trying to keep an eye on the tracker too. I'm trying to be better about that.
Andy's scoping out the tempered sword. Leo did get Quake, okay.
Andy coming up on the red mail too. Let's see if he decides to go for it. Yeah, he's thinking that looks pretty nice. He needs a new shirt.
So yeah, for the most part, our runners are going the same route. Leo doesn't know that Aghanim is not necessarily required. That's really the only difference.
Yeah, checking that Lumberjack Cave early is nice, if it lets you know that Aghanim is required. The drawback is it doesn't necessarily let you know that Aghanim is definitely not required.
Yeah. A lot of races I've seen where that item is nothing major, but you still need to kill Aghanim in order to access the Dark World, or get the item on the pyramid. Yeah, the item on the ledge for the logging hut was a bottle, which our racers don't really need. I mean, they can go kill Aghanim if they really want that bottle.
Yeah, Leo coming up the Moldarm Cave, while Andy's checking out the dam. Don't think Leo found anything of importance there.
Hook shot's nice to have, but when the Moldorms troll you, you can't really do much.
Yeah, the hook shot.
Master sword.
Master sword. Hook shot killing select enemies in the game. Enemies that doesn't stun a lot of times can just get killed, or it'll do nothing. But it's surprisingly tricky to hit them with that hook shot. The Moldorms, they're kind of a little fast in their movement patterns. Can be a little hard to predict.
I like to say that it kills the enemies that are ticklish, since it's the tickle beam. The people in the Super Metroid community, we call it the tickle beam. So Leo heading up to Ice Rod Cave, as I mentioned. So now that they have the Master Sword, technically they could kill Aghanim. That is one piece of progression that has been unlocked for them. Oh, you got it. However, there's still a number of items they could check in the Eastern region, Eastern Palace.
Yeah, generally Eastern's the last place most runners will go, just because a lot of times they won't have the bow and can't finish the palace if they have to enter it. Which can always be frustrating to have to leave something unfinished. Looks like Leo's gonna make his way down, probably fake flippers to Hobo. See what he's got in store. Or he could be. No, okay, yeah, he's just doing the setup there.
Yeah, he's fake flippering. So I assume they're roughly the same. Andy is a high group, and as I mentioned, Leo is sort of rusty since he hasn't been playing too much of Rando recently. He just recently started picking up version 8 and practicing it. Another bottle that they can access. So yeah, so friend under the bridge, see what they have. Now fake flippers is not a glitch that the randomizer expects, so, or it doesn't require it. So this item they get could be some kind of sequence break that the randomizer didn't calculate. It's not the item they need for progression, but it's just red rupees, which isn't needed anyway.
The only options they really have available to him at this point is either Eastern or the Desert Cave. And Desert Cave only offering a single item, usually Left for Dead last.
Yeah.
Or they could roll the dice and go for Aghanim now that they have the Master Sword to get to him. But that's a risky call at this point in the game.
It's interesting how both of the runners are pretty much going in the same route so far. We haven't really seen any divergence. Red rupee progression, that's right. I feel like when the randomizer gives you a sword upgrade this early, it might be setting them up to go to Aghanim's tower.
Yeah, I feel like it's guiding them in that direction. But who knows, that Eastern could hold something.
So Leo is going to make his way into Eastern. Oh, we just had to look at the map.
It looked like Crystal 2 was in Eastern and 7 was in Desert, and I believe Hera was the green pendant, if I saw that correctly.
I saw a pendant, I didn't see what color it was though. Myths on Pyramid, someone calling it in chat already. Well, we'll see. If Leo doesn't find anything here, he might decide to actually go kill Aghanim. Or he'll go take a look at Desert, as you mentioned. There's an item there. A little faster to check, but maybe not as worth, usually.
It's a little faster to check, but I think I usually prefer to just go for Aghanim at that point.
Yeah.
That Desert Cave, just in my personal experience, has never really offered up much, and it just seems so far out of the way for a single item check when your movement is as limited as it is right now.
Oh, Leo almost going left and skipping an item that's on the right-hand side over here.
Yeah, normally there's the compass or map in this chest, so you kind of just ignore this entire part of the dungeon in most runs of this game. Especially when you're starting out, this can be an easy chest to overlook.
Yeah. The shovel!
The shovel, that's interesting.
Questionable.
That's definitely worth checking out before you gamble on Aghanim, but who knows what that's going to lead to.
Alright, so... Oh, Leo just missed the quick kill. Threw the bomb in the wrong direction by accident. So there's 3 unique items that are in... if the boss is holding one of the items, that means our runners can get at least 2. So they need the bow to get to the boss. And there's a single arrow to go with the lack of bow.
Gonna have to make that one count later. I do like both players making effective use of the hook shot to get around.
Yep. So I will point out that shovel's only needed for the digging spot, the flute spot. The shovel game itself always gives you a shovel, regardless if you have it or not. So you don't need a shovel to do the shovel game in Dark World.
So we got Leo's approaching the last small chest in the dungeon. It's got a 50% chance that it will be an item of some kind or some sort of junk. Otherwise, 50% chance it's on the boss instead.
Oh, just a
And
piece
it's
of
a piece of
heart.
heart.
Well,
Suspect you'll check out the digging spot with that shovel, and then we might be seeing an Aghanim kill here shortly. Oh, he's at the sanctuary.
hmm.
I'm not exactly sure where he's heading.
Yeah, I don't. There's
Well, he
nothing up
did
this way.
skip past the lumberjack cave earlier, so maybe he's taking a look at that before he decides to kill Aghanim.
Oh, did we not mark his red mail? Okay. Yeah, if we miss anything, chat, just let us know.
Oh yeah, please do. I'm notoriously bad at keeping track of my own stuff when I'm running the game, so...
It just happens from watching 2 runs at the same time. So Andy's gonna go take a look at that shovel, see what it unlocks. Leo's about to be disappointed with this bottle that's sitting there.
Yeah, I don't know if I necessarily agree with Leo's decision to check this. At this point, he's almost out of options. It's just almost better to exhaust those options and then go for Aghanim than to waste all that time going to check this cave out.
He's probably thinking, do I want to go kill Aghanim? If this is definitely a worth item, I'm just gonna go do it.
Oh!
It unlocks the butter sword.
That'll make things easier.
Well, they're not getting a tempered sword now.
Yeah, 20 minutes in, we already found all the swords.
Although, getting butter sword is nice for Aghanim's tower. It just destroys everything in like 1 hit there. So it'll be a very quick dungeon for our runners.
Yeah, Aghanim's tower can be a little inconvenient with the Master Sword, but the Butter Sword pretty much just trivializes the whole thing. Looks like Andy's opting to check this desert cave before finally committing to Aghanim. If he doesn't find anything here, he's pretty much going to be forced to kill Aghanim.
This could be another Aghanim required seed. Let's see where Leo decides to go. He might be doing the same thing. Yeah, it looks like he's going to head down to desert as well.
Yeah, it's definitely probably the safer call. It's a smaller time investment to check this item than it is to just go for the Aghanim kill.
Andy didn't check out the ledge in desert, did he?
No, we didn't see that yet. He gets a whole heart container.
All right. I think Aghanim's required. There's nothing else they can really check. They could technically fake flippers over to Zor, but as I mentioned, that's not required for the progression of the randomizer. So the randomizer now is expecting them to go kill Aghanim.
Yeah, randomizer. The logic behind it is forcing them to kill Aghanim, and even trying to
Fire rod.
Fire rod. That's most likely going to be needed. So.
And it's a source of fire if they don't get the lamp either, and they need it. You need a source of fire to beat desert, which is where that is, and also up in Tower of Harrow, which is a pendant dungeon, so it might not be required. All right, so Andy's going to head into Aghanim's tower. Should make very quick work of the dungeon.
Yeah, we already see Andy with a slowly growing lead over Leo.
Yeah, they're both going the same route, and Andy's movement is a little tighter.
Yeah, Andy's movement and just general, I think, being more experienced with this game probably is giving him a small lead.
So I'm actually hoping for flute on the pyramid. I like when it doesn't just flat out give you Moon Pearl right away, and it makes you work for it.
I'm kind of torn on that.
Although if they get, I don't know. I guess if they get Moon Pearl, they can't. They could go south and check out Hype Cave right away.
Yeah, with the Moon Pearl and Hammer, they'll have a lot open to them.
Yep.
It's just kind of a pain in the butt to get around.
Pyramid is not single arrow. We already know where that. It was in Eastern.
This is a nice big chest reward.
So, Butter Sword, man, so good against those ball and chain guys.
But yeah, it feels good to just be able to one-shot them.
No, we know Pyramid has something good. It's the item that's required to progress. Unless this seed is broken, but we've tested this heavily. We should only get good seeds. Andy, probably glad that he has that red mail. The book cannot be on the Master Sword pedestal. The logic requires book to not be there because you need the book in order to check it. So they coded it so that way it says book is needed for Master Sword pedestal.
We got Andy's about to enter his egg in one fight. Leo's pretty hot on his heels. He'll be there in just a moment himself. We'll be finding out what the pyramid item is shortly. I have a feeling it might be like gloves or mitts as well.
That would be nice.
I think flippers would be really funny because then that would be forcing them towards Zora. So that would be the only thing that would open up for them.
I like that.
But there's a number of things it could be.
It's a shame that it's just a shame that I sort of want to troll the runners. Like, yeah, I hope it's an interesting one and not like here's everything right away. It just makes it more fun for us.
I think I mean it does make it a little more interesting to watch, and we've all been trolled before by these seeds.
All right, moment of truth. Let's see what's on top of the pyramid. Gloves, flippers. It is.
He's teasing.
He knows. Boots.
Oh, it's the boots.
Oh, nice.
So that will open up the bonk spot by Sanctuary, and I guess they can actually get that bottle if they want to now.
Wow, that's really it, huh?
Yeah, because the Tempered Sword isn't going to help them any, and they can't get to the King's Grave until they find the mitts. So there's going to be another progression item in here.
I hope it's the mushroom. Let's make them fetch quest. All right, I
oh my god,
it's a mushroom! Oh my gosh, I
right.
apologize to our runners, but there you go.
Hopefully that leads to like gloves or flippers or something. Although to be honest, I am waiting a little bit for the seed to open up for both the runners.
Yeah, there's been
I always
no
find it
divergence.
interesting when they can make different choices and see how that plays out for each runner.
Been a very linear seed so far. Oh, nice use of the hook shot from Andy. Leo also making his way on over to deposit the mushroom. Oh, sorry, Leo has to take a look at the bonk rocks first. And we have the Titan's mitts.
Alright, so now Zora would be officially open for them. They got King's Grave, they have Death Mountain.
So now this has really opened up. There's a lot of choices available to our runner. So we'll see where they decide to go. Looks like Andy's going to already head over to King's Tomb. Very quick check.
Might as well check that real quick and then probably head up Death Mountain. A lot of loot waiting for him up there. He's got the hook shot to get over to the east side.
Flippers.
There's the flippers.
Now, we haven't seen the Dark World map, so we're not sure which dungeons are required yet. We do know 2 of the Light World dungeons are required. It looks like Andy's going to make his way up to Death Mountain. Let's see where Leo decides to go with his newly Titan's mitts.
I imagine he'll probably do about the same.
I'd hope so. There's a lot of items up on Death Mountain, especially that they have the hook shot. Yeah, and as we mentioned earlier, hook shot and hammer means they can check every Light World item. They're still looking for the Moon Pearl.
Yeah, if they find that Moon Pearl, that'll be real nice. Allow them to clean up that Dark World as well. And there's a fairly good chance they're going to find it here. Options are starting to dwindle, and Death Mountain's so dense with items.
The old man just pays Andy for his trouble of guiding him back. We only know that Tower of Hera is a pendant. We have not seen the Dark World map yet. Unless I missed it.
I don't think either player decided to check after killing Aghanim. Again, kind of makes sense. They're not even able to do much in the Dark World, so they might be waiting until it's relevant to check that kind of information.
Yeah, they do have a good chunk of rupees here, so they shouldn't have to farm much for Zor if it's... So Andy's skipping the bottle that was in Spectacle Rock. He's just going to head right over to the right-hand side where there's 8 chests. Leo escorting the old man, and he's going to be there soon. Yeah, it's really close. Andy's just slightly ahead, but it's really anyone's race still. No dungeons yet. I mean, just gathering items at this point.
Andy's taking a small lead by virtue of movement, but once the seed opens up, it could really go either way.
So Leo's not even checking Spectacle Rock. He's just going to right over to the right-hand side. Maybe he'll come back and do that afterwards. Since he does have hammer, he can get back to the left-hand side from the top. So
we got a Bombos. It's not going to do a whole lot for him.
Yeah, we don't even know which dungeons are required, but the fact that he has 2 medallions could be useful. Bombos actually is nice because it allows any runner to get into Ice Palace if they don't have Fire Rod. Now, we know where Fire Rod is sitting, but they don't have a way to get it just yet.
Yeah, overall, Bombos is probably the best of the 3 medallions. We got Andy, looks like he's gonna go check out that Ether. Oh wait, they don't have the books. I guess he's going into Hera.
So Hera is a pendant dungeon. However, it also has 2 unique items that could potentially be useful.
And Hera is a pretty darn quick dungeon to clear, especially with that Butter Sword. Even the boss will go down in 2 quick hits if they need to kill the boss.
Now, Andy finds a small key in the basement, which, if he doesn't get a big key here, he's not going to be able to progress through Tower of Hera. Oh, it's just a piece of heart, so he can't get anywhere. You need a source of fire to check the basement item, which in this case would be a big key. It looks like Leodox is doing a Super Bunny. This is, again, sort of like a sequence break. Except he forgets how to Super Bunny, maybe? Oh, no. He's going in the wrong cave.
No, I really like Andy's routing decision here. Decided to check out Hera before coming back here to check Spiral Cave.
It is a bit out of your way to check Spiral Cave. Luckily, at least our runners have boots, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, we'll just save them a little bit in terms of not having to go back up the mountain. Though I'm expecting something nice to come out of this.
Oh, the worst glove.
The bad gloves.
It's a shame that Leo wasn't able to pull off that Super Bunny trick, 'cause it would have been nice to see what was there.
Do you want to explain Super Bunny for chat?
Sure. So Super Bunny is in that one particular cave in Dark World Death Mountain where Leo was. You can fall into a pit. Now, normally with a bunny you can't do anything, but when you fall into that pit, you're able to open chests. That's the only location where you can fall and then access chests as a bunny, and we call that the Super Bunny. So Andy farming a few rupees to get ready for Zora, it looks like.
And And the Super Bunny is considered a minor glitch. That's okay by tournament rules, but once again, not required by the seed logic whatsoever. So at best, Leo is hoping to find maybe a little sequence break to help him out, open things up a little bit.
I think
It looks like we have the seeds kind of one of those seeds where it's just pushing the runners in a specific direction.
Yeah, without the Moon Pearl, although once they get the Moon Pearl, they'll pretty much be able to go anywhere. But until that point, they're trapped in Light World, and there's only so many places they can go to here.
Yeah, they only have a couple left, so Moon Pearl is very, very likely going to be held by Zora or on the ledge up here.
Yeah, so someone pointed out in chat, enemies that you kill when they're stunned with the boomerang are guaranteed to drop a green rupee. So that was a quick way for Andy to farm, since you only need a few rupees.
Yeah, a lot of time it can be
Zora item is
annoying, but if you only need a couple more rupees to pay off Zora, it's a great way to just farm that up.
Oh no, Leo, don't do it. Moon Pearl by Zora.
Alright, so it'll be interesting to see where Andy goes from here. He has both the mitts and the hammer, so he's got a lot of options available to him now that he has a Moon Pearl for the Dark World.
And he's picking up the rupees.
Leo, picking up the rupees is not a terrible call. He's gonna want those for the chess game and possibly the digging game.
And the nice thing about the chess game in our version, the tournament version, is that it's guaranteed that the second item is always 100 rupees after the first try.
Oh, so Leo remembered didn't have the fire rod or torch, and that he was wasting time.
Close call.
Unfortunately, he was already almost done with the tile room, so he's not saving himself that much time.
It's better than going all the way there and then embarrassing yourself on stream.
True. I'm sure we've all done that before.
Yes. I've also walked up to the door in Desert Palace and forgot the big key.
I've done that multiple times. And we've got the Dark World map. It looked like blue pendant was in Palace of Darkness and red was in Skull Woods.
Palace of Darkness and Skull Woods. Skull Woods is a quick dungeon. It's still a quick dungeon to check for items if something happens to be there. Palace of Darkness has a lot of items, so it's questionable whether it's needed. Leo's going to the farming spot by the desert, which has 50 rupees each time you enter this cave here. Looks like Andy's going to farm some rupees with the chess game.
Yeah, he's going to want at least 80 to do the digging game, and possibly 110 if he wants to dip into Palace of Darkness, which is a pendant dungeon. But so the dungeon does have 5 items.
Andy's heading right into Thieves Town. There's no reason not to. It's a crystal dungeon, and he has the hammer, which means he can take a look at every single item that's here.
Yeah, it's a great early dungeon to do if you have the hammer.
Yep.
It's full clear, it's quick. It's going to be required anyway, why not?
No reason not to. So Leo's pretty much ready to go visit Zora. He's going to pick himself up he's not even picking up the rest of the rupees. He's done. And he's going to go right to Zora and be rewarded. Maybe? Oh, he might be taking the water portal. But
taking the portal is a little bit faster than trying to walk up there or run in his case.
So once Leo does get the Moon Pearl, as I mentioned, the whole map pretty much opens up to him. So he has a lot of choices to make. Now, there are a lot of items over in he went, including this dungeon that he's in now. But Leodox could also decide to head on up to Dark World Death Mountain for some quick items.
Yeah, just answer a couple quick questions in chat. Someone was asking about running super quick like in Death Mountain. It's called spin speed. If you do a spin attack and dash on the frame following, so it's a frame perfect trick. It gives you the movement speed of the Pegasus boots, but control of normal walking. It's you can also do that by doing dashing and using the hook shot on the same time on stairs. Touching stairs is vital to that trick. I forgot to mention that.
I find the hookshot version to be a little easier, especially when you're learning to do this trick. It's a lot easier just to do the hookshot and dash one. It's just easy because you do it pretty much at the same time. You hit the
Yeah,
buttons.
I agree. I can't do the normal spin speed consistently, but the hookshot dash one is much easier.
So I don't think dashing with items was intended. It's definitely a it's a Japanese 1.0 bug. It's not even in the American version. So they patched that out. No, just so you know, I'm Jet. Chat. I'm Jet, and
I'm Sorb.
yeah.
I did see someone asking who was here earlier.
Well, we should have let them guess. It would have been more fun that way. All right, so Leo is heading up to Dark World Death Mountain. There are 6 items up here, 2 where he could have super bunnied.
It looks like Blind was doing some light reading with that book. Maybe it's in Braille.
Book. A book for blind.
Oh, and the cane in the big chest. Thieves Town.
Wow.
It's got some hot items in it.
This is the reason to go into Thieves Town when you can.
We got Leo finding a heart container and a heart piece in his first couple chests on Death Mountain.
He still has 4 chests that he can take a look in Hookshot Cave.
So those are the 2 he could have gotten early with Super Bunny, but clearly didn't miss out on much.
Blind with an insect pun, of course. So actually, both of our runners are a bit low on hearts for going into Dark World, although the red tunic will help that.
Leo finding the magic cape in the Hookshot Cave. And another heart container. Magic cape is a great safety item.
It also does unlock 1 item in the Dark World. We'll have to see if that's required or not. Ether for Turtle Rock, and we have another look at the map.
The 1 medallion they don't have.
And
So
it looks like
5 at Thieves and 6 at Swamp Palace. The 5th and 6th crystal being required to open up the Pyramid Fairies 2 chests. And he's scoring himself a hot single rupee and C-shaped house.
So Mirror will be required this seed because they need to access Swamp, which is normally the second dungeon when you play the regular game. That requires the mirror to get into. And also Ether's required to get into Turtle Rock, so our runners still have plenty of items that they need to get. Both of our runners have killed Aghanim. They needed to in order to access, to get, what was it? Dash Boots. That's the one.
Yep. Yeah, so we need, or rather the runners still need to find the Ice Rod, Ether, Flute, and the Mirror minimum. And we have no idea where any of those items could be. They'll also need to grab the Fire Rod at some point, but we know that's on the desert ledge.
Which is actually something Andy could go pick up at any point. He has the book and he has Dash Boots. It is a crystal dungeon, so he could go decide to do that dungeon at any point. And pick up Fire Rod.
Yeah, he might be hoping to find like the Mirror and Flute and try to knock out Mire and Desert together. That'd be an ideal kind of efficient situation. But
so
go ahead.
I was going to say Aghanim isn't always required, but in this seed, our runners had to kill Aghanim in order to get the item that was on Pyramid. So it's not always required, but in this particular seed, Aghanim was a required kill.
We got Leo entering Thieves Town now. So he'll be grabbing his first crystal, and he'll be finding the cane and book in here as well.
And he's gonna go talk to old Stumpy and just get a piece of love. Dash Boots TM, yes, that is trademarked. So no mirror yet, so Andy can't take a look at the ledge item. But he is going to head towards Hype Cave. 5 items. Let's hope we get some hype.
Let's get some hype in chat for Hype Cave.
Come on. The last seed I commentated, there was nothing in here. Or wait, not the one the one I ran, not the one. There's mirror, so that works.
First thing.
Hype for Hype Cave. Piece of heart. Mirror is hype enough.
Yep, that will give them access to Swamp Palace, which will be required. And it makes kind of checking everything in both sides, the Dark and Light World, much easier.
So
well, that's going to be slightly less useful as they've cleared out a lot of the Light World already.
Andy might opt to go right into Swamp since it is a required dungeon, and you really just need Hammer and Hookshot in order to get through it. There are 6 items in that dungeon, so it could be worth the time to go get it done. Leo's making his way upstairs.
The mirror is required to check certain things,
Mirror shield.
such as this Bombos tablet right here. But in terms of dungeons, it's only strictly required for Swamp Palace.
So Andy wants that fire rod. He's going to make his way into Desert. He has everything he needs to beat it, which is just dash boots and a source of flame, which he'll get on the ledge.
Yeah, pretty good call. There's a couple extra items in here you can grab, and being a Light World dungeon, it's pretty short, pretty quick to clear.
Yep. And they know at least something of worth is in here. Well, related to here. So I'm not sure how experienced our runners are with doing dungeons in the dark. I'm sure, I think Leo has some practice, and I'm pretty sure Andy also can do them in the dark. Alright, so Leo's about to pick up the book next to Blind here. And then he'll go over and get the red cane.
Meanwhile, Andy finding the blue cane.
Not as useful. When you already have, well, he doesn't have the magic cape, so blue cane could be useful. However, it doesn't actually unlock any. Well, technically unlocks the Spike Cave, which is where you get the Cane of Burna in the base game itself.
Yeah, generally not too often seen in these races, though.
Right.
Tends to cause a lot of additional lag, which slows things down, and when you're trying to go fast, it can be a good safety net to have, though.
What did we miss on Leo's inventory? Oh, okay, you gave him a crystal. Cool.
Yeah, I was just waiting to see which one it was.
Here's some Oko strats. Oh no! No, oh. Leo, come on. You know. Oh. No Oko strats from Leo. But he does kill Blind.
Hey, take it from me, there's no shame in using that cape. Better to play it safe than to die.
Yeah. But we can make fun of him later anyway. Miss Pearl. Oh, we didn't mark the Moon Pearl, did we?
Oh. Whoops. It's a slight oversight on our part.
Alright, so both of our runners have 1 crystal. Andy about to get his second. Now, I'm really surprised that the runners are pretty much taking the same path, although Leo did take a quick detour and get the magic cape up on the Death Mountain, but that's really it.
Yeah, I didn't find too much up there worth his time. But with how item heavy it is, you can't blame him for checking it as soon as possible. And it's very likely Andy will be doing the same at some point, so it's not exactly time lost at this point.
So Fire Rod will kill Lamolas in 2 hits, although it does drain a lot of magic. Only bombs for Desert. Well, that's the item. But they do get a crystal, so that's the important part.
And he did find the cane of Mirna in there.
What was that? Is that crystal 2? Or was it 7?
Think it was 7.
It's 7. So Leodox also gonna talk to old Stumpy up here.
We have Andy saving and quitting back to Death Mountain, so he'll probably be checking out the Dark World side now.
He also has enough to take a look into the Spike Cave. So we'll see if Andy decides to go do that. Leo heading into Hype Cave, which we know is hype. Mirror is a good thing to have. Alright, so Leo now has a mirror. He might also take a look at the Bombo's tablet, or he can dip into Swamp right away. Oh, looks like he's going in.
Going in the swamp. I'm happy he is. I'm curious to find out what's in here.
Yeah. And Leo already knows where Fire Rod is, so to pick up something like Flute in here, that could actually be to his advantage.
A lot of players like to leave Swamp for kind of later in the game. It makes a huge difference when you can just rush through the dungeon as opposed to checking all the chests along the way.
Yeah.
But with the amount of items still on the board to find, I think there's a fairly good chance that they'll find at least one of them in here.
It's a tough call whether it's... I mean, with the sheer amount of chests, there could be a higher chance that you'll actually find something good here. But like you mentioned, it's a long dungeon to check everything.
Yeah.
I would still say it's better to check here than it is to go into Mire if you're not sure. Just,
yeah, for sure.
Just
Mire only has 2 items in it, and it's kind of a pain to clear that one as well.
Yeah.
And without the flute, they don't even have access to Mire right now.
So, Andy's heading back into Tower of Hera. Now, he has a source of fire, but this is a pendant dungeon, so there's still one more item to get, unless the pendants happen to be required. There's only one item to get here. Interesting choice. I mean, it's a quick thing to check, but the tile room is also the most time-consuming part of this dungeon.
Yeah, having to check the tile room to get the big key makes this dungeon take like literally twice as long because it's so short if you can just skip this room.
Leo's skipping getting the key on the right-hand side. He can get it later. It's the item. It's the key you're supposed to get after you get hookshot. So it's not like it's going anywhere, but it's a little out of the way at that point.
Yeah, and if you grab it first, you can make a small little optimization by unlocking this door he's about to open and hitting the switch, and then going to grab the key he already grabbed. Saves probably like a good 10 seconds or so, actually.
So we know Andy's going to find the big key down here because that's the only way to get back up. I mean, that's where you get the big key anyway.
Yep,
Nothing unusual.
We'll be checking the other 2 chests in here pretty quick, hoping to find the item so that you can at least avoid the Moldarm fight.
Yep.
But I imagine if Moldarm does hold the item, he'll probably kill him because I feel like at this point he's already committed to finding the item in here.
Just red rupees for Leodox so far. Nothing much. Hopefully he can pick up a big key if he's going to left-hand side, just so you can take a look at the big chest before you continue to the boss. A little faster that way. Oh, just a heart piece. So, Andy, it looks like he's just gonna go beat Moldorm while he's here. Get himself a green pendant, which is an item because he can see what Sahashala has for him.
Yeah, might as well. It's with the gold sword, Moldorm's a pretty quick kill as long as you don't get trolled and knocked off the edge or something.
Just a map from Moldorm.
Leo finding the magic powder.
That could be useful.
Magic powder opens up the bat, which holds an item. But it also is just useful for like survivability purposes. So it's always an item I like to see. Being able to get access to fairies almost whenever you want in the later dungeons, it can be invaluable.
Alright, so it looks like Andy's gonna head into Spike Cave. Let's see if that's anything valuable. And hopefully he'll take a look at Sahashala soon so we can see if that was actually worth his time.
Yep, unfortunately, Leo's hasn't found the big key yet in Swamp Palace. Swamp Palace actually being one of 2 dungeons where the boss himself can drop the big key, as there's no door blocking the way to him.
Nice. I like Cane of Burna in the Cave of Burna cave. It's a nice touch. It drains a little less magic. Oh, only blue rupee though. The Master Sword pedestal has not been checked yet. I suspect the runners will go do that when they go do Skullwoods. Oh, Skullwoods isn't required, so who knows?
Yeah, but also since Andy kind of went out of his way to clear the Hera, which is another quick pendant dungeon, he might opt to do Skullwoods at some point. It's very similar in concept as Hera. Very short dungeon where you know what you're doing, and if you have the fire rod, you can check the items there fairly quickly.
That's right. So Skullwoods could contain a major item anyway, and it's a quick dungeon check. And I think someone else in chat responded, you can't use the Cane of Samaria in Swamp for that button, because the moment you leave the screen, the button despawns. So you have to put the statue on there. Alright, Catfish is up. And it's just an arrow upgrade. So Leo's finishing Argus here. This will be his second crystal, although this was a longer dungeon. When he opts to do Desert, that should be a quick one that he can get as well. Did you say this was one of the Fat Fairy crystals? Swamp?
I believe so.
Oh, actually, it would be if it's 6. He can take a look at the Fat Fairy now.
Which would, yeah, that's an additional 2 items. And those are super quick to check, especially with Aghanim dead. It's a very short trip with that bomb.
Alright, so Andy's gonna take a look at north of town. He already went into King's Tomb. So really, he's just checking this mirror spot and on top of the ledge in the Dark World. Oh, he does need rupees to buy that bomb. And there's some bombs for Andy.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting watching these 2 players. It's taken slightly different approaches so far. Andy seems to be, ooh, there's
the rupees.
So Leodox will not be hurting for money anymore.
Broke Leo is no longer broke.
Yeah, Andy's opting to clear out more of the overworld first.
So it looks like Leo's gonna check out Bombos and maybe head to Desert afterwards. Yeah, so Andy didn't go to Sahashala just yet. He doesn't have flu, so it's not like he has a fast over there.
And Eastern is a crystal dungeon, so I have a feeling he's hoping to find the bow before
That
he
makes
heads in that
sense.
direction.
Yeah. Although it'd be funny if Sahashala has the bow.
That would just be rude. But we can hope.
Andy's not gonna head into ice, is he? I mean, he could.
I mean, I don't know where else he would be going.
Okay, we're gonna do ice.
Find a little bit of magic.
Leodox making his way through desert. The only thing he'll get here is a crystal and the fire rod, which is outside. Oh, the shame they used the green potion so early. He should be fine with the magic drops in here, but you do need full magic. Unless he uses Bombos, you need full magic on the boss in order to break it open.
Yeah, Ice Palace is another dungeon that has a huge time difference between rushing through it and full clearing.
See, can bow be on the pedestal?
No.
What is it? It's a Palace of Darkness. No, yeah.
Palace of Darkness.
Palace of Darkness.
Complete it without the bow. There's mimics.
Oh, because it has the one room, yeah, right after the big key door. Yeah, so no, because Palace of Darkness is required, bow cannot be on the pedestal.
But we could still see something like
Ether?
Ice Rod or Ether, even the flute. All three of those are still unaccounted for and required.
Oh man. Imagine 2 in one day, if that's the case.
Yeah, basically back to back.
Alright, Lamp can't be on pedestal because Palace of Darkness is required. Pretty much if a pendant dungeon requires an item, it cannot be on the Master Sword pedestal.
Andy nailing that Ice Palace bomb jump. Leo grabbing the fire rod and be finishing up Desert very soon. So in a moment, Leo will be ahead in crystals for a a very short amount of time. Andy will be grabbing his third crystal from ice, and he's checked a little bit more of the overworld.
Yeah.
So I'd say overall he's still got a small lead, but it's anyone's race.
It's pretty much whoever finds these last items at this point. Oh, so it looks like Andy's going to take the drop in this joke room here slightly faster than dropping on the left-hand side where the chest is. If you want to check all the items, you can drop here, immediately hookshot, and go take a look at the items that are on the right-hand side. If you don't have a small key to get over there. Confirm, not joke room. There is a purpose to that room.
Yeah, actually, that's pretty smart. I hadn't considered that before.
Yeah, I didn't actually realize that until I started watching other racers in the tournament. So I definitely have to start throwing that in. It seems pretty good.
Yeah, situational as you pointed out, but
yeah,
when the time comes, it does seem like the best way to go.
The flute, Ice Rod, and Ether can all be at the Master Sword pedestal because you don't need them to beat the pendant dungeons.
And
Quarter
half magic.
Well, half magic. Half magic. Yeah, our pendant dungeons are Tower Hera, which Andy completed, Skullwoods, and Palace of Darkness.
Palace of Darkness.
So it looks like Leo's going to head on over to Village of Outcast. He has fire right now. He could opt to dip into Skullwoods, although it's a pendant dungeon. Maybe he'll decide to go Return to Dwarves. Oh. Did we have to give... Oh, you got a crystal. Alright, cool. Oh, interesting. He's going to go the back way to check this last chest.
I was wondering what he was setting up for there. I like it. Yeah, it's this particular chest is just kind of the biggest pain in the butt when you're trying to route your way through Ice Palace.
Although he has to go all the way back up and around in order to get to the boss area if he wants to go this way.
Yeah, I'm getting to the point.
Oh no, he's gonna do the bomb. Oh no, he can just fall.
Oh yeah.
Did he?
Yep.
And he can do
he bomb jumped over here and then
Yeah, that makes sense.
Smart. He's using his noggin.
And you can just hook shot. Yeah. Just a piece of heart though. That's a good call. I'm gonna have to remember that route. Blue staff.
Leo getting his heart container from the digging game. Got a nice handful of things you can do kind of to clear up Village of Outcasts. That's probably in that kind of whole area, so that's probably what he's going to do.
And he already took a look at the Bombos tablet, so really if he decides to do the purple chest, he could just flute over. If he has the flute, maybe
he's got to find it first.
Oh, well, there's Ice Rod.
I was wondering if Andy had checked this yet.
So that's one of the things that could have been on the pedestal. So we're down to 2 things that could be at the Master Sword pedestal. So cross your fingers, chat. Alright, Andy picking up his 3rd crystal. Whichever crystal number that is, which I'm not sure. Oh, it's 3. Or 4. That was 4. Looks like Leo might also be opting to go into Ice Palace. No, both of our runners are very close. Andy has checked a few more items than... We still don't know what Sahasrahla had, because Andy hasn't gone over there.
As I mentioned, he's really hoping to find that bow before he heads towards that part of the map, I'm guessing. Let's see if Andy is heading straight for Swamp Palace, or if he's going to check out that cave that has Ice Rod. Looks like he's going to do Swamp Palace. So they're pretty much neck and neck. Leo's just a short way into Ice Palace, which Andy just completed, and Andy's just about to start Swamp Palace, which Leo's already completed.
I'm not sure if Leo knows to check the Fat Fairy. And if it happens to be a required item, Leo's going to be in trouble.
That could be a problem area. I also don't know if he's had the best opportunity to do so. I guess, I don't know, I probably would have made sense to do it before Ice Palace, in my opinion.
Right. It's Andy with a 4. It's different than the other Andy.
Delta Quebec, any item can be in any chest for the most part. There's some logic applied so that all items are attainable.
So both of our runners actually going into dungeons that their opponent has already completed. So we actually won't see anything new for a little. But Leo's opting not to do the bomb jump. Now, if he's going to take a look at all the items in this dungeon, this isn't too much of a time difference compared to doing the bomb jump.
Yeah, and if you're not particularly confident in your bomb jump ability, it's not really worth the trouble if you have to full clear this anyway. So yeah, when each player's done with their respective dungeons, they're gonna be pretty neck and neck. Andy's got just a few more locations checked under his belt, but Leo also has the ice rod, which Andy has yet to find. And that was in the cave south of the grove. That requires a mirror to reach.
So Leodox also going into the fake joke room, where he'll fall. So he can quickly take a look at the chests. Yeah, they haven't done the magic bat yet either, have they?
He could have something.
Yeah, I don't think Leo took the frog back to be a dwarf. So if either runner decides to go over there, although Andy doesn't have the magic powder yet, does he?
No, that's in Swamp Palace.
That's in here, yeah. Okay.
So he'll be finding it in the next minute or so.
So if either runner happens to go do that, you get something from the dwarves, something from the magic bat, and then if you do the purple chest, that's a third item.
Yeah, it's always nice to group as many of those items as you can into one trip.
Yep.
Andy kind of blocking himself off there.
If it's, as you mentioned, if you can combine everything into one route, save yourself a trip, that's the most efficient way to go about this. If you're just going out of your way to check one single item and then coming back that way later on to check a different item, you're going to find that you have a more time spent on the seed.
And sometimes you're just forced to do that, but generally you try to avoid those as much as possible.
Alright, so Lear's gonna go down to the big chest, and he's heading up where he'll get the magic powder. It was on this side, wasn't it?
I believe he's dropping on top of the compass right now, and then the powder will be on the other side. So once each player is done with their dungeons, they'll have Turtle Rock left, which required Ether, which neither player's found. Misery Mire, which they need a flute to get to. And Eastern, which they need the bow to finish.
Which you have to mention, they are still both looking for that bow. Bow. We know where Ice Rod is, so they're basically missing bow, flute, and ether.
And Andy's got that green pendant, so you can check Sahasrara, whatever his stupid name is. You might be forced to do something like that, and maybe check East or Palace of Darkness.
There is a chance. I mean, the randomizer could put flute or bow in Turtle Rock. There's no reason it can't be there.
That's true, but they need to find ether before they can get in there.
Of course.
So yeah, it's gonna be kind of whoever can find the flute or ether first.
Alright, so Leodox picks up his 4th crystal. Yeah, and Andy's about to finish and get his 4th crystal as well. The only dungeon that Andy did that Leo didn't was Tower Hera. Looks like Leo's trying to decide what he wants to do next. There's not many dungeons that he can actually go do, as we mentioned. You need an item to do all the dungeons. So right now, it's just he has to go find something. Either flute, ether, or bow.
The only thing you can really full clear right now is Skull Woods, which is a pendant dungeon. It is a short one though, so... Or I guess you could go do Hera, which Andy already did, and we know is not going to lead him to anything useful.
But Leo can also, as I mentioned, do the dwarf area, which has a bunch of items. Like I think it's like 3 items in that whole chain. Sahashala or Fat Fairy.
Looks like Leo's heading up Death Mountain. Looks like he's pausing. And the save and quit. think he realized that he wasn't going to find much up there. He'd already kind of cleared it out. I think he might have forgotten which medallion was needed for Turtle Rock. Because he has everything he needs to finish Turtle Rock other than the medallion just to get inside.
Leo might be doing the Fat Fairy. And Andy's gonna grab the big chest since you get the big key in the basement. Alright, I think, yep. No, it was a false alarm. Leo might be heading into Palace of Darkness. Now, Palace of Darkness is a little difficult without Bow. Nope, he's not doing that. I lied.
I don't think he's been up to Catfish. As we pointed out, Andy's cleared out a little bit more of the overworld than Leo. So we might be seeing Leo check a bunch of things that Andy already did.
Alright, so Andy, if he decides to mirror here, which looks like he's going to, will pick himself up an Ice Rod.
He'll be happy to check that off his list. Unfortunately, it's not going to open up anything new for him yet.
No, we're eagerly awaiting Andy to go to Sahasrara to see if it was actually still waiting for that moment.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what he decides to do right now.
I'm telling you, Sahasrara has Bow.
He may be going up to Skullwoods. There are 2 items there, and it is a quick clear.
So the thing about going into Palace of Darkness now is when you're lacking the Bow, you can't do much because you can't take a look at the right-hand side right after the entrance. So if there's not a small key on the left-hand side, you cannot do anything in that dungeon until you have a Bow. So it looks like Andy's
gonna drop off the blacksmith.
Yeah.
Probably check out the magic bat, and he didn't do the hammer cave either. I would assume then, or did he? I don't remember.
I don't know. So yeah, Leo looks like he's gonna actually take a look. He's gonna take his chances. The doors make Andy a lamp, which doesn't really unlock anything, but at least he doesn't have to do any of the dungeons in the dark.
It's pretty fine craftsmanship to make that lamp with a bunch of hammers. I kind of like Leo's play here.
It's risky.
It's a bit risky, but
I mean,
options are starting to dwindle, and as you mentioned, if he doesn't get a small key in that first chest, at least he knows, hey, the bow's not here.
Right. I mean, chances are it's going to have a small key on the left-hand side. The randomizer tends to put a lot of small keys in the beginning. There has been a seed just before this race. We had our first tournament seed that required the Master Sword pedestal. Oh, there's a small key for Leo, so he can continue throughout the dungeon. Let's see if this gamble pays off. There are 5 unique items here, but unless he gets Bow, he can't take a look at 2 of the chests that are here.
Yeah,
and Amy's gonna head up into Skullwoods.
Boss. So one of these should be paying off.
Yep. Someone made a good gamble, maybe. Still a few items they could also check as well. So Andy's in Skullwoods. There's
Andy's
2 unique items here. Almost has 1,000 rupees. So there's 2 unique items for Andy in this dungeon. So if he picks up something else, then he's done this dungeon. He doesn't have to get a pendant unless it's required.
So Andy opening up that first chest for the 300 rupees and then heading north. A lot of players will do that because there's a good chance you'll find a small key in between those 2 chests, and then you can just go right to the big chest room. Sometimes you get a little less lucky and have to kind of loop your way around, which takes a bit longer.
Leo trying to decide if he wants to spend a small key here, because if he doesn't get another small key, well, he just did, so he's okay. But he can't continue through the dungeon unless he had that key. Did we see what Andy had in that big chest? I sort of missed it.
A small key.
No.
So he's got to move on to the latter part of the dungeon to finish exploring.
I'm just hoping he takes a look at the pedestal after all this, so he can see if it's required.
I would imagine it's on his mind if he's up here.
Yeah.
With the amount of locations he's checked off his list, if he's going to take the time to make the trip up to Skullwoods, he might as well check the pedestal.
So Leodox is missing a lantern, which means he's going to have to do this in the dark. We know the lantern's at the dwarves, so I hope he's comfortable doing it in the dark because it's coming. So you will be able to see Leo pick up items in the dark when he opens the chest. If it's actually an item, it shows up. But if it's something like the big key or a compass, well, actually, no, you do see the compass. But if it's the big key, you won't actually see it, which is weird. All right,
there's certain
moment of
inventory
truth.
items that don't show up either. So yeah, he opened up that chest, it looks like, and then had to open up his inventory.
Just couch cash. This is not the one. Yeah, I think he got a big key on the left-hand side. And he only has one small key, so he opts to go where there's more chests, rather than going on the right-hand side where there's just one. But now he has to do this in the dark.
He's got some reservations about navigating this maze in the dark.
Or he's pulling up a map.
Well, Andy's hoping...
Oh,
the flute! That is huge.
And the thing I like about checking Skullwoods is that it's a lot faster than checking Pod here. But there were more items in Pod, so it was worth a chance. But now that Andy has the flute, he's only missing Ether. And I think he checked, right?
And, yeah, with the flute, he'll be able to head to Mire, which has 2 items within the dungeon. But there's also the 2 items outside in that little left cave and the northeast desert cave that he'll have access to. So, fairly good odds he might find Ether over there.
Leodox has to do some Oko strats. Half a heart, no potions.
Andy is also, as pointed out, still looking for the bow.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Okay,
I forgot to, but chat's got our back.
Yeah, so he's missing the bow and Ether, but he's close to being in go mode. And maybe Mire... I like checking the 3 items in Mire is quick. And I usually get at least one thing that I need.
Yeah, it seems to be a hot spot for good items. Particularly this late into the seed with all the places he's checked. It's probably like the quickest options he's got available to him right now.
Yep. So Mire does require bombos, which our runners already have.
Finding even more cash. Andy is rich.
He can go buy a couple items in Zora now. Alright, so Leo can't do anything else. He didn't get a small key on the left-hand side. So he's pretty much done, and unfortunately he did not get anything good. He worked hard for those bombs.
Oh, there's the bow.
There it is. Alright, so Andy is just missing Ether, which he needs to get into Turtle Rock.
Yep, I imagine he'll be doing Mire, and then probably heading over to Eastern and clearing that out afterwards.
I'm not sure if they got all the items in Eastern. So if there's still one more that the boss could drop, that could be a potential item. So yeah, it looks like Skullwoods was the way to go. That gives you flute. You come down here and you get bow. So Leo's gonna go see what the magic bat has in store for him. while Andy starts his way through Mire. There's 2 unique items in Mire, so either of them could be Ether, potentially.
Yeah, and Mire being another one of those dungeons that's a bit of a pain to check everything in. But since you're here and you still need something, and with options dwindling, there's no way he's going to be skipping out on any chests. Andy finding a piece of heart in the first chest, so that's going to be the first of the 2 items. He's got one more shot at finding Ether in here.
Not sure what Leo's up to.
I'm kind of wondering the same thing. Leo really needs to make his way over to Skullwoods, which it looks like he might be heading towards. His options are kind of dwindling as well, so even from his perspective, it seems like a decent play. Yep, that's what he's choosing to do.
Okay,
So
that'll work out.
So this is still a pretty close race, especially with Ether still missing in action.
Alright, so Andy does get the big key, but since he's still missing a unique item here, he's going to continue taking a look at the chest. There's 3 more that he has and the boss itself. Any of them could be the unique item. Yeah, that's true. Flute did actually require the fire rod because it was in that last portion of Skullwoods here. You know, I'm actually hoping that the Fat Fairy has where was this at?
Oh yeah, I forgot that it didn't get checked. Cardina in chat pointing out that lots of dark rooms in remaining dungeons, and Leo's yet to grab the map. That will probably come into play.
So
I'm
sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I actually have to get going. I have a very late work meeting to get to, so I will be leaving you all. Thank you for letting me do this commentary with you, Swerve. And here we have Wild Anaconda to take over.
How's it going,
Thank you very
everybody?
much.
All right, so have a good night and good luck on these racers.
Good night, Jet. Thank you for the co-commentary. What's up, Anaconda?
Not much, so get me up to speed here. What have I missed? Looks like we're already an hour and a half in. They're both at 4 crystals right now.
It's still anyone's race. You missed an interesting seed so far. It started as a Stoops Jet seed. We're going to say with an early hook shot and hammer. But then it kind of funneled the 2 runners on the same path until they eventually got the Moon Pearl from Zora. And now we have Andy making his way through Mire. He's going to be getting his 5th crystal. Leo is in Skullwoods right now, which is a pendant dungeon. However, we know that he's going to find the flute here. So once he finds that flute, he'll probably be making his way over the Mire.
I was just about to say, looks like Andy's got the flute and the lamp, which Leodox doesn't, but Andy is still checking chests in Mire. Is Ether
Ether is
required?
required for Turtle Rock.
Okay, gotcha.
And so this chest that Leo's making his way towards right now will have the flute for him.
Oh, Leo doesn't even have the bow.
Lantern
either.
was at, well, the flute leads to the bow. That's in the Northwest Desert Cave. So
Gotcha.
he can't reach it until he gets that flute that he's about to come upon. The lantern was at the blacksmiths. So Leo really needs to go check them out too. Because, as has been mentioned on many races, Mire is typically considered the trickiest of the dungeons to do without the lamp. That first room is extremely tough, with those fireballs being shot at you, and you have to place the Cane of Samaria block on the button in the dark.
I would agree. My word of choice wouldn't be tricky. I would actually say Pod would be the trickiest dungeon to do in the dark. I think Mire is definitely the hardest to do in the dark, as because it's very easy to die. But yeah, all right. So it looks like is this going to be a crystal here for Andy?
Yep, that will be his 5th crystal.
All right.
I'm not sure which number that is, but I'm just gonna mark off number 1 because at this point they have the 5th and 6th crystal, so the numbers are kind of irrelevant.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Which, speaking of 5th and 6th crystal, neither of them have checked the Pyramid Fairy yet. And with the way Andy's been playing, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes and checks that now. Possibly on his way to Eastern. Since he has the bow now, he can go back and finally clear that out. He just has the boss left to do, and that will net him his 6th crystal.
Alright, yeah, so it sounds like Eastern we've got as 6 and T-Rock as 7. Now, I assume he's gonna probably check these items, get bow, like you said. Lantern? Oh,
The lantern was the the blacksmith reward.
Right. Okay.
Stupid randomizer has me saying breadsmith by accident.
Oh yeah, you definitely called it. Andy's gonna go check Big Bomb now.
And Andy also has the green pendant, which Leo does not have. That was from doing Hera, which didn't have anything really to show for it other than the green pendant. So I would expect Andy will stop by Sahasrara as well on his way to Eastern.
Could see the green pendant.
If he doesn't find Ether right here. Meanwhile, Leo coming upon his bow.
Either way, he's close to go mode. Indeed. Let's bring out the puns. Ooh, interesting
Chat's been on
bonk
top of their
strat.
fun game so far. I'm pretty proud. Andy finding a piece of heart and a heart container. Andy is a healthy boy in this seed.
And a bit of hearts. It's an interesting bonk strat. I liked that strat there from him to bonk into the Fat Fairy entrance. Normally I get spin speed and just press right up against the...
What did he do? He bonked into it somehow?
Right when the bomb exploded, he bonked against the southern wall, and the recoil put him into the transition for Fat Fairy. Normally I don't know if it's, it's obviously a matter of frames. I like to get spin speed and just run in there as soon as I can.
Andy with a slightly bad warp there.
Do we know? Have they checked the Master Sword?
It's couch cache, I believe. It's useless junk. Andy did check it. I don't think Leo did. And Sahasrara having bombs. I can't remember if if the boss is going to drop an item or not. It was so long ago.
Going into Pod to check some stuff out, actually, first. Interesting choice here. And that's
setting up. This is actually a pretty smart choice. Set up Pod, then kill the Eastern boss. And then if he needs to come over to Pod to... Oh, no, you're right. He's just going right in.
Yeah, I think this is a smart decision since I'm assuming they checked all the items in Eastern and there aren't any remaining locations. So
checked all the chests, so
this is a smart...
remember if the boss is going to have anything.
There's 5 locations in this dungeon for potential items here. So this is a smart choice by Andy, in my opinion.
Yeah, especially given his knowledge. Leo did come here and did what he could, but without the bow and without the lamp, he was a little limited. So there was a handful of chests that could still contain ether, namely the 2 chests on the right side and Helmasaur himself.
Did even without the lamp, did Leo check the dark room?
He did.
Okay. So it's just those 3 remaining locations then.
Yeah, I believe he was able to check everything. But we got Andy coming up on the right side, so we will get our first look at these 2 chests.
Lamp was given by the blacksmiths.
Oh, I forgot to mark down Leo's flute. I should probably do that.
Alright, so it wasn't in that chest. Moment of truth. No.
Oh, another red rupee.
Actually, Halmasaur, then. So it looks like, yeah, Andy... But Andy doesn't know. So he's probably going to go through and check all the rest of the locations.
This is gonna accidentally end up being a 100% clear.
Seems likely.
It just happens sometimes. You need that last elusive item. And it's just in a particularly out of the way place to look. So yeah, Andy definitely with the small lead that he's kind of held since the beginning. Just kind of showing overall a little better movement and execution. But Leo did already explore a fair amount of Palace of Darkness, so when he does make his way back over there, it'll be quick for him to do. So
Yeah, he'll just need
easily
to...
still anyone's game.
From the sound of it, he'd just need to check those right side items and then just beeline it right to Helmasaur. Do I want to do these dark rooms? Either that, or he might be pulling up a map. He might not know the layout of the rooms very well.
Yeah,
The dark is really
touched on this a
tricky.
little bit before he left. This first room right here is widely considered the hardest dark room to do.
I think mostly because the switch is so finicky. Your placement of the block is required to be so precise.
Definitely,
Is the reason why.
pretty precise placement, and it's really hard with those fireballs knocking you around.
Yes, of course.
If he can manage to make it past this first room, though, I think he'll be fine. Assuming he has any
But
health
you know,
to show for it.
with red mail and it does provide for quite a bit of leeway.
He's down to his last heart.
Fireball damage. Yeah, his block was way too high there. So unfortunately he did die. Don't know if he... Yeah, it doesn't look like he's got a fairy.
Let's see if he decides to continue. It looks like he's going to make another attempt. I'm sure he's kind of feeling an hour and 40 minutes in, still needing 3 crystals. He's got to kind of be worrying about where Andy is in relation to him.
Yeah.
So I don't think he wants to go around wasting any time looking for that lamp.
But he's definitely used to stalling out on difficult parts of the game, though, because Leodox has done a number of... So he's got the perseverance. So I don't doubt that he will be able to do this.
So yeah, it's more of a matter of when he gets it done, rather than if at this point.
Exactly. So where would be the next most likely location that Andy's gonna go if Helmasaur does not have Ether?
I'm trying to think of where he hasn't been yet. I mean, he still has to finish Eastern. Oh, Helmosaur with the red rupee. So maybe I was wrong. Maybe.
So I'm seeing in chat they've got
Armos.
Cape Cave is one option after Eastern.
Cape.
Has they checked?
I feel like they checked it. I'm fairly certain at least one of them checked it. I think Andy checked it. Because he went and did like the Grape Cave and stuff. Oh, the purple chest. I don't think either player has done that yet. Oh, yep, and I just saw Andy's inventory. So yeah, Armos definitely having the map. So he'll go in here, he'll grab his 6th crystal, and then he's got a few locations left to check.
But what about Catfish? Have they checked that?
Catfish was an arrow capacity upgrade, I believe. And Andy has checked that. Andy has checked most of the overworld at this point. He's got, I think it's going to be Purple Chest. Purple Chest would be where my money is at this point. As far as I can recall, Purple Chest is the only thing that hasn't been done by either player.
Both of the tablets have been checked.
Yeah.
Alright, so it's moment of truth now. Let's see where Andy decides to go. I, for one, am very curious.
Yeah, I'm curious as where he's gonna head to.
It's a second pendant as well from Pod. I think it was red,
Yeah, you got the
Which
green
is-
one already from...
which is Courage, if I'm not mistaken.
Where are the pendants on the tracker?
They're
I've
towards
not
the-
used
towards the
on
bottom.
Tracker, so... Red? There it is.
Have they checked, it's half magic in vanilla?
Yeah, the magic bat. I think Leo checked. I'm not sure if Andy checked. He might have a few things to do over in this area.
Oh,
It looks like he's
pardon
going
me,
right
it
for
was-
that purple chest.
Instead of, not the red.
Oh, blue. Okay.
Oh, green is Courage, red is Power, blue. Okay, thank you. Shakal, Draconis. Oh my,
Andy almost there. And there's the
but there
ether.
it is. There it is. That is.
Almost getting trolled by that duck, though.
Though he was trying to be fast about it, and there is a frame where you can, you know, call the duck and then open, and then have the duck grab you right afterwards. At least I assume he was trying to do that and go fast.
Yeah, I would assume so. Just called it a bit early.
So Leo made it through. Now he's gonna take it safe. He does not want to die right now.
Yeah, good call. Having to go back through those dark rooms again would be a huge pain and cost him a lot of time. So, good call on his part to take safe strats. using the normal wooden arrows, even though he has got the silvers. But
You know that you have to switch? Because I didn't. I sure didn't know that, and someone had to tell me in the middle of a race, and they were like, "What? You didn't know?" And that was after I was, you know, complaining about how I couldn't use my silver arrows.
Leo picking up his 5th crystal, while Andy finally making his way into Turtle Rock. He's in go mode. He's just gotta rush through here, grab that last crystal, and then head over to Ganon's. So he's got a pretty significant lead at this point.
Yeah,
Leo's
it's definitely
gonna have to rush through Eastern here and go straight for that purple chest if he even wants to have a chance at this race.
Yeah, it's Andy's race to lose right now. He's you know, he's got, you know, some technical skill as well to, you know.
Yeah,
But
Andy,
if Leodox does, you know, finish out Eastern real quick and is the first thing that he checks is that purple chest, then he might be in good shape, provided that he knows the maze well enough in T-Rock to get through it without the lamp, which is probably the easiest of the 3 dungeons to do without the lamp, in my opinion, is that dark maze.
for sure, it's definitely the easiest of the dark dungeons, and the fact that Leo is able to do House of Darkness and Mire in the Dark makes me think he should be fine in Turtle Rock.
You know,
But,
getting
yeah,
a
Andy's
really great key luck here in Turtle Rock for Andy.
Oh yeah, the big key and 2 small keys in those first 3 chests is what you want to see when you're just trying to rush through this thing. Yeah, Andy's kind of shown just a little bit better movement and execution overall throughout this whole race. So he's definitely, yeah, Leo's gonna have trouble making up this deficit at this point. Mr. G Gabs pointed out in chat that for Leo to check the purple chest, he will get the lamp by default because he does have to bring that blacksmith home. So,
Oh,
thanks
that's
for
a
pointing
good
that
point.
out.
Yeah, that's yeah. That's good thinking.
I'm thinking Leo might not realize that he has to switch to silvers. Oh, there he goes.
You did it. All right. And down goes Armos. How early were boots in this seed?
Andy taking his trip outside. He wants to open up that big chest. So he's gonna need 1 more small key to reach the boss. Turns out it's just the map, so smallest time, but not really, given his position, not worth the gamble.
It's always worth the gamble. But because he doesn't know his position. He has no idea where Leodox is. Well, presumably, he doesn't know.
That's
you
true,
know,
I guess,
but
not given his position, but just in general, I've made that mistake before, skipping by that big chest and then checking all 4 of those laser room chests and not finding a small key and having to backtrack all the way for that big chest. Costs a lot of time.
I think you make 1 time, but you know, statistically, it's not a bad thing to skip it. And there it is. There's that key he wanted.
Oh. And Leo returning to Hera, he was here much earlier in the game. But he got stuck where he is right now because he didn't have a fire source. So he's going to return here, grab that basement big key, and make his way up through Hera. Not a terrible call given the options he has available, but unfortunately not going to end up being the right one.
Lamp isn't required for Ether, it's just he will be getting it by default, because in order to unlock the purple chest, you have to return the blacksmiths, who will give you the lamp. And very nice one cycle there from Andy on Trinex. Or zero cycle, whatever it's called.
If you have the gold sword and the like, you can go up behind him and kill both heads before he gets a chance to land.
What is Leodox doing? He needs to get moving. The tile room is done.
Is he stuck? It looks like he might be trying to move. I didn't know if he could get stuck there though.
I mean,
maybe
at this
he had
point,
to take a little break.
Just mirror. Yeah, he's definitely. He was just get stuck there. But I mean, after that amount of time, I'm sure he would have just mirrored. So, all right. So Andy now does have his final crystal, making his way into Ganon's tower. Let's hear some. Make some bets. Where do you think the big key is going to be?
I'm gonna guess chest 7. What's your guess?
Is that a particular chest, or just the 7th chest that he happens to check?
So it'll be in that first 4 chest room on the left side. But I'm not picking a particular one. It's just whichever one he picks last is gonna be it. What are you thinking?
Well, I'm hoping it's going to be right here in this room. That's what I always hope for. It's going to be the small key, big key in those 2 chests.
Well, you got the small key.
Yeah, that's always what I hope for. But I'm actually thinking it's going to be in the double fire bar room. So I guess that would be chest 8 then, according to. It should be chest 8 then, if he.
Yeah, because we're counting that heart container that was on top of the lantern there as number 3, which Andy chose to grab. I mean, why not? It's already got 17 hearts. Might as well make it 18. Might as well just go for the 100%. Oh, yep, sorry, I forgot to mark the 7th crystal. Thank you, chat. And I forgot to mark 1 for Leo.
So he's going back?
Looks like he's gonna go visit Sahasrara.
He doesn't have the green pendant, though.
He does, I haven't marked it. I don't know where sorry, this is like my first time actually doing the tracker myself now. And I just have a series of buttons to press, so it's not like I'm looking for a picture. It takes me a little bit longer to find everything.
That's okay. I know.
He's just finding some bombs.
I've always wondered why you can't key dash off the bottom of that chest there. Because normally, key dashing, you can line up off of, anything stationary, a wall, a chest, whatever. Off of that chest, you don't key dash through the door at the bottom, so I don't know if it's the position of the chest, if it's dashing downwards through a door, I don't know.
It's I'm pretty sure it's the position of the chest. It is weird. Because it seems like most other things are lined up properly, but you need to be a multiple of, 4 pixels away from the door?
4, yeah. Alright, so here he goes, grabbing the frog. He's about to grab Ether pretty soon here.
Find himself the lantern, and then, yep. Most likely gonna take that chest home and get Ether. Well, Andy will be coming up on Ice Armos here in a moment if this doesn't have the big key.
Another heart piece is getting close to that 100% there.
He's gonna be rocking 20 hearts by the time he fights Ganon. Leo grabbing that purple chest. Just gonna head back to Light World.
Man.
And there's the 19th heart.
So the question is he missing a heart container or is he missing 4 heart pieces? From what I know, from what you've all told me, they've checked so many locations. I'm gonna wager that it's probably a whole heart container that he's missing instead of the heart pieces.
That would be my assumption.
And there is Ether for Leodox.
Ether.
Interestingly, deciding not to check the tile room, Master 2, but Andy deciding not to check that tile room chest. Interesting decision. You know, it does take quite a long time. It's only 1 chest as opposed to the 4 that you could check.
Yeah, I'd say that makes the most sense, is saving it for last. You gotta wait like close to a whole minute probably for that tile room to clear.
Long time.
And with 4 chests being in here, it's just mathematically the better option.
Yeah,
and
there it
there's
is.
The big key. Second to last chest. So he'll be making his way upstairs at the like 1:56.5 of a minute mark. So I'll be looking a bit over 2 hours for his clear time, which is pretty darn good considering he's grabbed almost either grabbed or checked almost every item location in the game.
Leodox had a nice little damage boost strat there. I'm sure totally intentional. Got hit by the squirrel while he was holding the rock, making him throw the rock sooner than he would normally be able to. Always very nice and convenient when that happens.
Small optimizations. We got Andy coming up upon the gauntlet, which is 5 rooms of just kind of the tougher enemy fights in the game, I guess. A lot of obstacles in these rooms.
It combines tricky, difficult enemies to kill with room layouts with lots of obstacles like spikes, these moving platforms, obviously ice physics.
And those annoying lasers that knock you halfway across the room.
Moving BMOS, too.
You made pretty quick work of all 5 rooms.
Yeah, it was a very nice gauntlet.
Heading into Lamola's 2. Making darn quick work with that fire rod. Taking them out in 2 hits each. Yeah, Andy just showing his skills in the game here. Making very nice work of these upper floors of Ganon's Tower.
And his technical prowess.
This is kind of the point in the game where you're kind of got your eye on that IRC chat, kind of looking at it out of the corner of your eye. A little worried about where your opponent is, particularly with a seed as rough as this one. Having to check almost every location in the game for that Ether medallion. Ended up being in the purple chest. Andy's got to be wondering if Leo checked that early or if he struggled with it as much as he did.
Yeah, when it comes to stuff like that, like one particular item that just takes forever to find, I'm like anxious and checking that IRC chat from like the hour-and-a-half mark. It's like wondering, oh my god, like when, you know, did it really take my opponent this long? Are they just like miles ahead of me right now?
Yeah, yeah, whenever it comes down to like one tricky thing like that, you never have a clue where your opponent is. Thankfully for Andy's sake, Leo did struggle just as hard with it. Andy making his way into Aghanim 2. Starting off with a nice double.
Yeah, not too great of a pattern there for... Well, it wasn't that bad. He still ended up getting two hits off.
And a nice 3-side.
Yeah, that was a nice third round there. Good positioning.
So we got Andy about to start up his Ganon fight, like the 201 mark. He'll be making quick work of Ganon. He's got 19 hearts, he's got the red mail, he's got the gold sword, silver arrows, he's got literally almost everything at this point. Dropping down to 2.5 hearts, though. Ganon still does a fair amount of damage, even with that red mail.
It's quite an insane amount. I believe it's 4 hearts. 8 without any tunics on. Getting a double there. The first.
Yeah, that was really nice setup there.
And just barely tinking that arrow there again and lost his vulnerability, but looking like Andy now just finishing up just barely over the 2-hour mark. Congratulations to him finishing this out. I don't have the IRC open, but
That was
I think
very, very good race on his part, considering all that seat, how kind of tricky that seat ended up being, and lulling the racers into a false sense of security with those super early hook shots and hammers. Seeing an official SRL time of 2 hours, 2 minutes, and 21 seconds from Andy. And he's already through in his comment of, "I've never felt so debated in my life." So we'll see if we can pull him in here for an interview in just a moment.
Shoutouts to Google.
I'm gonna go ahead.
So
and
now's
pull
the
him in
time
here.
to get to those. All right, now's the time to start guessing that bonk count for Andy, as Leodox has grabbed his 7th and final crystal, and we'll be heading into Ganon's Tower now.
Hey, Andy.
Hi.
Congratulations. First things first.
Thank you, thank you. I've never felt so debated in my life. I felt like I routed so perfectly the entire time, and the game was just spitting in my face the entire time.
Yeah, it was just one of those seeds where you checked almost every single location in the game.
Uh-huh. I had 19 hearts. 19!
Yeah, I was hoping you'd just find the 20.
Well, I skipped the damn heart piece, so I wasn't gonna get 20.
Oh yeah, that's right, I forgot about that one. But yeah, finishing with a 202, 21. Considering...
Scouring the entire dang world? Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, having to check everywhere. And I pointed it out before you came, or I pulled you in here. How are you feeling at the beginning of the seed when you found that super early hammer and that hook shot?
I thought it was gonna tell me you're gonna go up Death Mountain early, and I took the bait when they gave me the opportunity to. and it was not very good bait.
Yeah, no, I was expecting you to find something nice up there. But overall, this was like kind of a stinker for Death Mountain, which is pretty rare.
Yeah.
I had Jet in here earlier as my co-commentator, but he had to leave, and so Wild Anaconda that took over for him. But I was joking about the early hookshot hammer was going to be a Stoops Jet Seed. Turns out it was the exact opposite.
Ugh. It searched, like, I searched every overworld location I could, like, legitimately. Like, when I gambled on Pod and Sahashala, because I knew it was like, alright, there's purple chests, and then, like, 10 locations. I'm sure I'm gonna get lucky this time. Like I said, every single time I went anywhere in the seed. I'm sure I'll get lucky this time.
Yeah, it was a
G,
fantastic race.
that was your fatal flaw. Assuming getting lucky in a randomizer.
I got lucky in my first 2 races.
How did you feel when you finally found that Ether medallion?
Well, I knew where it was, so I just, like I said, I felt jebaited. Like, as soon as I saw what Helmsor had, I was like, well, it's purple chest, and I just face-bombed. I was like, well, I gambled and lost.
Were you worried about whether Leo had struggled as hard as you did to find it?
A little bit, because I literally checked everywhere in the world. I checked everywhere.
Yeah, luckily, I mean, you guys ended up pretty much checking everything. He saved that purple chest for last as well. But overall, you were just showing kind of better movement and maybe a little bit better routing as well.
Like I said,
You
I felt
managed to
really
check
confident
everything
in my
faster than he did.
I felt really, really confident in my routing. I felt like I was getting chains upon chains of items out of the way at once. Like, I felt like I was doing that, and then, like, no matter what, the purple chest stood out as a single item that I didn't want to check because everything else is more than one spot. So it ended up not paying off for me, but it ended up working out for me anyway because, you know.
Leo kind of ended up doing the same thing, luckily.
Sometimes lucky, sometimes unlucky. The randomizer giveth and the randomizer taketh away. I was just assuming and hoping that I felt like I had better movement in general because I felt like I was doing better. Like, early game, I thought I was cruising with the hook shot. Like, completely and utterly. I feel like I was just dominating the overworld when I had early hook shot. But, just didn't pay off.
I know, definitely. I mean, early on, you did take a small lead from just kind of just more efficient movement and routing through the game, and you kind of just held it the whole time. That could have turned on its head if he decided to check that purple chest earlier than you did, but
Yep.
Overall, you guys kind of ended up doing all the same stuff, just slightly different order.
So, Andy, I gotta ask, so after this win, where does that put you in your group? Where you stand?
3-0, it should be every match too, because Sushi is not playing in the tournament. He said he was dropping out or something. I don't know.
Okay, so you've done all of your matches for group stage then.
Yep.
And you're gonna go into single elimination. It's 3-0. How are you feeling about that? What are you gonna do to prepare going forward, if anything?
Get luckier. I think it's gonna come down to luck mostly, like who goes where first in the higher bracket, because I beat Andy on randomizers when he checks wrong stuff. He beats me sometimes too. I feel like it's going to be anyone's game in the higher tiers, legitimately.
Oh, for sure. That's kind of what makes Randomizer such an interesting watch.
I feel like I have a lot of bonks. I also checked 186 out of 206 locations.
That's, yeah, pretty darn high.
Uh-huh.
Having to check almost every chest in Ganon's tower certainly didn't help you out.
Oh. Ganon's free Ganon key, 21 out of 22. The tile room being the exception.
Yeah, good call skipping that, by the way.
33 bonks. Actually less than I thought. My last race where I finished in like a half hour sooner, I had over 40 bonks. Oh,
yeah,
God.
30s is not that bad.
Ugh. What a mess. What a mess of a seed.
Hate to interrupt you, but Leo just found his Ganon Tower key.
Hooray.
Making his way upstairs at about the 210 mark, so he'll be finishing up pretty soon as well.
Oy vey. Still a fun seed. But man. Man, oh man. It didn't take every chance it could.
Really know what to say about the seed. It was interesting for sure.
It was interesting. It's the kind of seed where I would have lost if, you know, if Leo took the gambles that I didn't, I would have lost. I feel like that's what it was going to be.
Yeah, that's really what it came down to.
I would have rather had the I make blocks the hold down switch a seed, because then it turns into a dungeon rush, and I know I can scour every dungeon. I know, like, I try to optimize my routing whenever I can. I play, like, I'm a very played by ear kind of runner when it comes to random. I kind of wing it.
I think that's kind of my playstyle too, and I think that's a good thing.
I think that's
Every
a pretty
randomizer's different.
standard approach. I mean, I think many players have like a there's a couple of set openers that, you know, are pretty common across most players, and then after that it's just there's a lot of variability. Just, you know, wing on what you got, and you just got to decide, like, are you gonna take gambles or are you gonna?
Yeah, it's very important to be adaptable.
Yep. I feel like I gambled on several things too. I went to Hera earlier. I went to Skull Woods. That actually did pay off. But
Yeah, I think that was like kind of like the biggest turning point in the race.
I went to Skull Woods before Leo did.
Yeah, he went to Hera a lot earlier than you did. Like far, far earlier. Too early, because he went in there before he had a fire source. And obviously the big key was down in the basement.
Yeah, I
ended up
peeked in. And I knew I needed the fire source. I opened the first two chests, then backed out when I realized I didn't have fire.
Yeah, he didn't realize that until he'd almost cleared the tile room. And then I was kind of hoping he would just forego returning, since you'd been there and we saw that he wasn't going to find much out of it. And I think he kind of made his way back over there, and you went into Skullwoods, found that flute. And it was kind of at that point you had a fairly significant lead.
See. That was a fun race. The struggle was real, though.
Yeah, but still, really good time, all things considered.
Sure, I'm satisfied with the time. Like I said, I felt pretty good about the routing. I didn't gamble on purple chest.
Yeah, you're super efficient, and it's really hard, as you pointed out, that like just the way things kind of worked out for you and the way you did things, like purple chest kind of just became that far off item on its own. And so it makes a lot of sense to leave it.
Yep.
But unfortunately, you know, like 10% of the time or so, it's not going to work out in your favor. And all you can really do is hope that your opponent made the same decisions, and that's pretty much what happened.
Got lucky. Sometimes lucky. Despite having 19 hearts.
Oh yeah, you were so beefy. I did like that you opted to grab that heart container on the lantern and Ganon's tower.
I was like, I might as well. I already have 17 hearts at the time. I'm like, might as well. I've already got a million.
Go with the safe bet. And Leodox checking the final chest and getting rewarded with the bug catching net.
Hooray. Hooray.
He's got it equipped. Is he? Oh yeah, he's using it on Aghanim too.
Going for the swag.
Style. Can't go wrong with style. Well, the net had to be in Ganon's tower. I literally checked everywhere else in the game.
He's getting a surprising amount of. He's gotten like two rounds with 2 hits already with the net. That's impressive.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
The net's kind of tricky to use on him. It's just like the timing on it's so different compared to a normal sword slash or spin attack.
Box is circular for the entire time, whereas the completely encompassing link, whereas the net is only where the net actually is placed when it comes into contact with.
So yeah, making his way in again in about 2:15:30, so we're probably looking at like a 2:17-ish for him. Only about 15 minutes behind Andy.
So for those of you wondering what's coming up after this in terms of this tournament, there isn't anything immediately following this match. However, at 2
in the morning, right? Or was that last night? Or this morning? I thought we had one scheduled for that time.
Does
Too many matches canceled according to Fiesel.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry. You do not have another match until tomorrow morning.
Next match I'm seeing is at 2 p.m.
Tomorrow afternoon, excuse me. Yes. Yeah, that was what was confusing me, I think. Match for this tournament is going to be tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern between Vonky. So make sure to come on by for that.
Yep, and we got a whole afternoon and evening full of matches tomorrow.
I looked like he was trying to do a silver list and then he changed his mind.
And down goes Ganon for Leodox.
Alright.
And I'll see if he wants to pop in for a quick post-game interview as well, but I'll take a quick moment just to remind everyone in chat there to please follow the runners. They have some great streams, and I'd also like to remind everyone to follow Mythical and Fiesel as well. I saw Greenleaf Effect kind of giving them a shout-out in the morning game today, and I kind of just wanted to repeat those sentiments. They were doing a lot of work to keep this whole tournament together behind the scenes, and are definitely worthy of your follow.
But thanks for letting me jump in here for the last about half an hour of this. I'm gonna take off here, but on your win. Good luck in single limbs.
Yeah, thanks a lot to Wild Anaconda here for popping in and helping me wrap up the last half hours of this race. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. So yeah,
make sure to drop him a follow and drop Jet a follow, who co-commentated the beginning of this race with me. Unfortunately, Leodox says that he's pretty tired, so he's not going to pop in for an interview.
Well, don't forget about yourself now, Swerve. Give him a follow as well. As far as matches go, you've got to wait quite a little bit. Again, the next match is going to be between Mike the V and Vonky at 2 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. So make sure, mark your calendars, make your alarms, whatever you need to make sure you're back for this. For more A Link to the Past. Again, I'm Wild Anaconda 69, and I'm going to pop out of here. So thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you all next mission.
All right, have a good night.
See you later, folks.
Yep, so I'll take off as well. And that race will be on this channel tomorrow at 2. Followed by several other races, and then going into the weekend with Saturday and Sunday. Saturday is going to be chock full of races on Speed Gaming channel. as well as probably other races on Speedruns Live and possibly Speed Gaming too. So just keep an eye out on all 3 of those channels for plenty more randomizer action. Thanks everyone for listening, and have a great night.